What up, people? It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast, and I come into you guys live from coast to coast. It's your boy. I'm Don One, and welcome to another fabulous rendition of Just My Opinion podcast. How y'all living? I'm living swell. Feel free, be sure, hit the subscription button, the notification bell, share this live stream with your friends, family, and followers. Let's get this YouTube channel as well as this live stream lit in the YouTube algorithm. You heard me by hitting that notification bell. Also, if you want to further support the channel, if you really truly respect the grind, Don Squad in the house, stand up, salute. All you have to do is hit that join membership button. Remember, membership has its privileges, as well as you can send super chats, super stickers, and you can hit the Cash App, $ I'm Don One. The link are in the description below, as well as subscribing to my other YouTube channels, as well as my social media profiles. Got all that stuff out of the way. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I believe we're on the heels of the start of the NBA season. It's upon us. We are in the fall. I think we're going to I think winter is going to come very, very quickly. I don't know how it is in your part of town, but it's starting to get noticeably colder. All right. So that's a good thing and that's a bad thing. Okay. And I've told you guys my favorite season that I enjoy being involved with or being into is the fall, because it's warm, but it's also cold. It's not too cold, it's not too hot. And I just like the scenery when it comes to the colors and the leaves and the trees, bushes. Not a lot of flowers growing around this time because it's getting ready for winter. You also start seeing, if you're a nature type of person, you start seeing the animals start to get in the process of hibernation, particularly when you're in the parks and stuff. Start noticing them getting their berries and getting their stuff in order, nuts and berries, and getting their stuff in order because of winter. All right, because winter is upon all of us, and we all got to survive out here. All right, so got all that stuff out of the way. Welcome, welcome, welcome to my graveyard shift. If you guys are still on y'all graveyard shift, I think I got a couple of hours and you can finally go home. I thank you for allowing your brother some time. You're coming in, you're coming out. Just be sure to hit the like button on your way in and on your way out. For my early morning squad, people who wake up mad early to start their day, welcome, welcome, welcome. So let's get this live stream in order. All right. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. The first order of business is this is coming from The Sun. Guys, if you are not subscribed to this publication, subscribe and enjoy. You will not be disappointed. They also have a website. But, when you're talking about First Take and Undisputed, I kind of want to, just focus more on the actual shows and the channels and what's been transpiring over there at First Take and over there at Undisputed. What's going on with ESPN and Fox Sports 1. Got a lot of stuff we're going to be talking about. The first order of business, I don't think it's a real topic, but, I paid attention to this show last week. Well, this situation between Keyshawn Johnson and Skip Bayless. Now everyone is, hyping it up, saying, "Oh man, they having their first argument, their first debate." When I actually saw it, I didn't think much of it. But the Sun is this publication is talking about it, and it's Skip Bayless and Keyshawn Johnson in a tense on-air Undisputed exchange after the little co-host remark. Okay, I didn't think much of it, but let's go ahead and read the topic, read the article. Skip Bayless and Keyshawn Johnson have had a intentional exchange on Undisputed during discussion about Kyler Murray. The two Undisputed stars debated whether the Arizona quarterback should return on the field for 2023 NFL season. things suddenly got personal, okay? Skip Bayless, Keyshawn Johnson got into a heated exchange as the former NFL receiver argued Kyler Murray shouldn't return on the field um, this season. When Bayless suggests that Johnson doesn't believe in little quarterbacks, the ex NFL star said, or little co host, which one? All right. Murray returns to practice on Wednesday for the first time since he tearing up his ACL back in December last year. Johnson, who is 51, argued it doesn't make sense for the Arizona Cardinals to rush their star back. The retired NFL star said Murray should focus on making a full recovery from his injury, considering Arizona isn't a playoff contender this season. The Cardinals just won one game after their surprising 28-16 victory over the Dallas Cowboys. You guys know that I'm a huge Dallas Cowboy fan, but I'm more of an objective Dallas Cowboy fan, more so in the tune of Skip Bayless and Michael Irvin. They're not really all that objective about the Dallas Cowboys, but let's go on. Johnson added, it'll be hold up. Johnson added, be a little difficult for the quarterback to learn head coach Jonathan Gardner's defensive system on the fly. And he pointed out that Murray would likely need another few weeks to practice to get back into the swing of things or get back into game shape, meaning his comeback could come as late as week 9 or week 10. What's the point? The superstar champion asked. Bayless, 71, chimed in, suggested that there was another reason behind Johnson insisting on Murray sitting down for the rest of the season. Keyshawn, I just think you don't believe in a little quarterback, right? The veteran sportscaster joked, but the former 6'4" wideout immediately clapped back at his co-host, saying, or little co-host, which one? The exchange left the other undisputed star, Michael Irvin, in stitches, but Bayless had no intention of letting Johnson just have the last word. Little co-host, he asked, in rather a tenuous manner, the one who's in better shape than you are, that guy. I don't get what that was about. Okay, I'll take that. That's what Skip Bayless said. Johnson then circled back to the Murray debate, admitting that he isn't a fan of small quarterbacks. And soon after that, the show went into a commercial break. Besides the segment, the Dallas Cowboys take point. Okay. They went back. They came back and they talked about the Dallas Cowboys. And this happened on the Undisputed show on Wednesday, leaving fans complaining on social media. Okay. So I think that's it. So let's just go ahead and get into it. First and foremost, I saw that show, and personally, what I saw, I really didn't see it being the tension was at an all-time high. I have seen Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith get the tension gets very high. They particularly when they're arguing, particularly when the Tim Tebow debates they would have back and forth. It didn't get to that level. It didn't even get to the level of when Skip Bayless would argue with Shannon Sharp. You know, uh, even their heated moments. I just didn't think that I think this had little to do with nothing. I think to be perfectly honest with you, it was a slow day, probably a slow week for Undisputed. Well, just sports media in general. And I can recall wasn't really nothing going on. If you look at the hottest sports topics, James Harden, he's still with the Philadelphia 76ers. There's the Philadelphia 76ers. There's no conclusion to that or an ending to that. Plus the NBA season, no one's really thinking about the NBA season until it actually happened. When you look at the college football, Colorado is the hottest thing. It's the best thing. It's the best thing that's smoking. And I believe they lost last week, and nobody wasn't, you know, focusing on Deion Sanders or Colorado football. Um, the Dallas Cowboys stumbled. They didn't dominate. They didn't win all their games. A lot of people are scaling back on the Dallas Cowboys, saying, they may be pretenders of the throne, even though there's a lot of publications out there that says otherwise, that they're a Super Bowl contender. I just want them to have a winning season, and we'll worry about the playoffs later on. We'll worry about the Super Bowl later on, if that happens for my beloved Dallas Cowboys. Not a lot of LeBron James talk. So it was really a slow news day, and it wasn't really much to talk about. The hot button topics, they just simply was not there. And I just think, particularly with Fox Sports 1, they're trying to pull something out of the air, because let's face facts and face reality. you know First Take is doing its numbers, particularly when Shannon Sharp's there. They have the highest rated show. I mean, they had the highest rated show even before Shannon Sharp, but just the addition to Shannon Sharp really, uh, uh, you know, gets First Take its viewership. A lot of people that watch Undisputed has transferred over to First Take to see what Shannon Sharp's going to say, even though it's a better show. I just let's just be fair. There haven't been a lot of special moments between the tandem of Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp, because they pretty much placating with one another, trying to help one another. Help me, I'll help you type of situation. They haven't been in no serious debates or had a serious blow up, because, like I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp, they're going to play nice because they're going to help one another. Stephen A. Smith's got 2 years remaining on his contract. He wants another contract from ESPN. He's going to utilize Shannon Sharp to get that. And Shannon Sharp is saying to himself, I need to really perform well under this contract, because who knows? ESPN may down the road may rip this contract up and give me even a better contract, plus my own show. Plus, if best case scenario, if Stephen A. Smith retires, or if Stephen A. Smith can't reach a resolution as far as getting another contract from ESPN, well, guess who's going to be in the driver's seat at First Take? Shannon Sharp. So Shannon Sharp is going to be eating good either way. All right. So they really haven't, had any heated moments over there at First Take. And if you look at the topics, First Take as well as Undisputed, really no hot button topics that's gravitating either show, other than what's going on in the shows. When you talk about what Stephen A. Smith has said about Marcellus Wiley, what Stephen A. Smith has said about Skip Bayless, what Stephen A. Smith has said about his former co-host over there at ESPN, Max Kellerman. That's been really the hot button topics over there. Everyone's wondering what Stephen A. Smith has to say about either of these guys. And when you look over there at Fox Sports 1, particularly with Undisputed, people are worried that, Undisputed ratings are not that good. It's not that impressive. And we talked about it last week, how it's going to take Undisputed a little bit longer to find its way, to get back to its usual self, because they had the biggest change that they're trying to they're trying to fix. Okay, Shannon Sharp is no longer there. They replaced Shannon Sharp with Keyshawn Johnson, Michael Irvin, Richard Sherman. You know, as well as they made Skip Bayless a moderator. So Skip Bayless is moderating as well as giving his thoughts. Okay, and it's just going to take a while. I told you guys last week. I feel like Undisputed should have a full-time moderator. So a full-time moderator that's going to transition to the topics and keep everyone on page, and let Skip Bayless get back to what Skip Bayless does best, which is be a troll and irritate wherever comes out of his mouth. Everyone's irritated. Skip Bayless is like the ragweed of sports media. Okay, he just irritates everyone. All right, so nevertheless, back to this topic, the Kyler Murray topic. And I saw that show. I didn't think much of it. I didn't think it was not a big whoop-de-doo type of moment. But let's just go into it, because everyone's talking about it on social media. Everyone thought it was personal that what Skip Bayless said. And Skip Bayless feels like Keyshawn Johnson has an agenda on why he's not for Kyler Murray to go back, to hurry up and get him back in. I think the Arizona Cardinals, and this is just me on the outside looking in, I don't believe they should rush Kyler Murray, but they should put Kyler Murray in these games. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think the Arizona organization has a lot of faith in Kyler Murray. I think the Arizona Cardinals would love to shop Kyler Murray to another team, and they would like to just start all over. Okay, they're not a playoff contending team with or without Kyler Murray. They got that massive contract that they gave Kyler Murray, but it's a tradable contract. And maybe another NFL team like the Washington Commanders may be interested in the services of Kyler Murray. Plus, Kyler Murray has baggage. It's not what he's doing off the field per se as going to clubs or anything like that. It's just Kyler Murray's. I think he needs a new city to go to, a new set of circumstances. I think he needs to, study more about the quarterback position. I think Kyler Murray leans on his intangibles as far as him being athletic, as far as him, making decisions on the fly. I think he leans on that a little bit too more. I think he needs to be a well-rounded quarterback, get familiar with the playbook. Last year, Shannon Sharp, as well as Skip Bayless, they were very critical of Kyler Murray when they put that clause in his contract saying that it's a study clause. He has to be on his laptop more, and he will get more. He'll get like a bonus or get his pay or something like that. And when it got out into the open, didn't make Kyler Murray look all that good. Now, I do feel like the owner took that out of the contract because Kyler Murray was kind of embarrassed by it. And I think the owner did it to save face because he knew that if they would have continued to have that on the contract, Kyler Murray, he would have lost Kyler Murray for that year. And that's the real reason why they took that stipulation out of his contract. Kyler Murray felt like he didn't deserve to have that on his contract, and that's fine, okay. But I feel like the Arizona Cardinals have given up on Kyler Murray. They got a new head coach. This new head coach, I think he's playing. I think he's not really forcing it. But low key, I feel like this new head coach wants um, wants to start all over. Okay, this team is not going anywhere. Why are we why do we have Kyler Murray on our team, and this team is not going anywhere anytime soon? 3 people in the building. Could y'all please hit the like button? Hook your boy up. I really do appreciate that. So yeah. So I feel like a lot of insiders feel like this is Kyler Murray's last year with the Arizona Cardinals. Keyshawn Johnson is, and I feel like Skip Bayless feel like Keyshawn Johnson has an agenda. Maybe he developed a kinship with Kyler Murray. Maybe he's a big time supporter of Kyler Murray. Okay, I feel like Keyshawn Johnson. Keyshawn Johnson is, and he developed this at ESPN as well. Keyshawn Johnson believes in giving people second and third chances. All right, particularly, and he's not the type of person that's demanding someone to lose their job. Okay, Keyshawn Johnson just not built that way. Now, Shannon Shaw is definitely built that way. Stephen A. Smith is definitely built that way. And yes, Skip Bayless is built that way. They don't care if they have a kinship with you, or if you're friendly with them, or y'all church members or y'all school buddies. They don't care. All right. If you're underperforming and you're not doing your job, and you're not putting your team in the best situations, they believe in just letting you go. All right. They believe in just trading you to somebody else. Okay. They believe you're garbage juice right now. And the old adage is, today's trash is someone's treasure. Right. And right now, the Arizona Cardinals, they're not publicly saying it, but Kyler Murray is trash to them. They're ready to move on. They're not going to be playoff contenders. They're not going to have a very successful season with the services of Kyler Murray. They have pretty much given up on Kyler Murray, on this team, and they're ready to move on. Okay, they tried, but it's just not going to work out. But Keyshawn Johnson is just not that guy. I think Keyshawn Johnson is not going to demand Kyler Murray to lose his job. But I do feel like he just not built that way, and I think he got turned off by what Skip Bayless said in that segment, because Skip Bayless is pretty much he's not implying it. He's saying, let's hurry up and get him on the field, so so other teams can see what Kyler Murray is, and see that he's somewhat healthy. He can somewhat be a servable quarterback down the road. Like I said, the Washington Commanders, they're looking at the quarterback position. Okay. The New England Patriots, okay, they're not too impressed with their quarterback. They just signed Belichick to an extension. Why not make a trade for Kyler Murray? It's not going to cost you a lot. He's already under contract. The Arizona Cardinals are willing to give him away. They're not going to ask for like Deshaun Watson getting like 3 or 4 number ones. Okay, they feel like, man, if you give them some decent high draft picks where they can draft another quarterback and just develop that quarterback. After they draft him, just develop him slowly, and then see if they got something. The Arizona Cardinals are ready to rebuild. All right, so they're not going to ask a lot to for you to have the services of Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray is going to be a steal for any other NFL team. And like I said, the Washington Commanders, they need a quarterback. The New England Patriots, they need a quarterback. All right. And you got some other teams on the horizon. They got a quarterback there, but they're not too sure if this quarterback fits their plans long term. So they may kick the tires around for Kyler Murray. All right. So, that's the going rate. And I feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers, even though they're not publicly, giving up on their quarterback, you mean to tell me the Pittsburgh Steelers are not interested in Kyler Murray? I mean, Kyler Murray may not be a number 1 pick, but I feel like Kyler Murray is like in the top 20 as far as best quarterbacks in the NFL. All right. So, but back to Keyshawn Johnson. Keyshawn Johnson's just not that guy. He's not going to demand the Arizona Cardinals to release Kyler Murray. And I think Keyshawn Johnson he's just not built like Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, and Skip Bayless. So there you have it. And I just think this on the air exchange had little to do with nothing. Okay. It had little to do with nothing. It was a slow news day last week, and there was really nothing to talk about. All right. So that's pretty much all I had for that topic, because it's not really, it's not that deep. It's not really that serious. And it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, some there's going to be changes with the future of the Arizona Cardinals. Okay, and it's going to happen no matter Kyler Murray wants it or not. So yeah, let's get back. And I wanted to find this article about ESPN, and there's I I'm trying to look for it right now. On I saw this on the little wire for NBC News. And ESPN has been hemorrhaging money. All right, and here we go. See, this is coming straight from CNBC website. Okay, Disney revealing ESPN finances is a key step in the CEO Bob Iger's turnaround. Okay. And we're going to get into this topic. Okay. Give me a second. Okay. So Disney, hold up. Oh my God. You have to subscribe to it. So I'm not subscribing to ESPN. I mean CNBC. Disney first ever breakout of ESPN finances is another key step to Bob Iger's turnaround for the entertainment giant, displaying a stable lineup with plenty of room for growth. And ESPN has been trying to find its way. It's just not ESPN per se. It's Disney as a whole. Disney. They put up a lot of money for a lot of these projects, and a lot of these projects are not making the money that they invested in. All right. I think Marvel has had stumbles along the way with a lot of their projects. ABC is struggling as well. You heard talk of Disney maybe selling off ABC to another media company. That article went down. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Disney Plus is not what ESPN Plus, excuse me, is not what they expected. Disney itself, they scrapped a lot of projects and a lot of shows from Disney Plus. And this is all due, and even though a lot of people are not saying it, and ESPN has been renegotiating its deals with a lot of cable companies. That's why there was a blackout over there at Spectrum. I think it was Spectrum. It was probably somebody else. I forgot. It's anyway. So they've been renegotiating their contracts with a lot of satellite and cable networks. They did renegotiate their situation with Comcast. It didn't result into no blackout, but it did renegotiate. But that was like years ago. But if you look at Disney is just moving differently, because one of the reasons why Disney is struggling. The struggle's real for Disney because they own a lot of these IPs. They own a lot of these networks. Disney owns Hulu. Disney owns ABC. And Disney owns itself as well as the Star Wars franchise, the Marvel franchise. They own a lot of IPs and movies from 20th Century Fox. They bought out the rights to some of those things. Some of those IPs and characters are a direct result into the Marvel universe. And they just own so much, and all of these all the stuff that they own, they haven't gotten a return on it. And I think they're just too big for their own britches. And Disney is one of those things. You know they own, they always been owning Disney. But if you've been paying attention, you know everyone's cutting the cord with satellite and cable TV. you know Back in the 80s and 90s, satellite and cable TV was the end thing. And if you look at now, it just seems like a lot of people are transforming the way they get their entertainment. Everyone's cutting the cord from satellite and cable TV. Everyone is subscribing to these streaming services, and that's the way everyone wants to go to. ESPN has to change how they do business from here on out. And hey, it's one of those things that Disney has to understand. They're going to have to change with the program. But if you've been looking at their recent decisions, and I think Bob Iger, you guys know I butcher people's names on a consistent basis. So I'm sorry. I apologize if I butcher his last name, but it is what it is. You if you've been seeing the direction and how they've been changing, I think they made some smart moves. I think they're making ESPN more mainstream and more hip in social media. They're utilizing social media more, and they understand that there's a market for social media. There's a demand and viewership on social media. I think ESPN, and ESPN has always been in social media, but they have never mixed their social media with their actual shows and their company. Now, by signing Pat McAfee, they're pretty much bending a knee to social media, and they're saying like, okay, Pat McAfee is the hottest thing on social media. Is what everyone's talking about. We need Pat McAfee on our airwaves, and that has been very beneficial for ESPN. I think the next thing that really, and this sort of was handed to ESPN, was the Shannon Sharp situation. Shannon Sharp was let go of Fox Sports One. Some people say that he got fired. Other people like myself say it was a contract dispute. I'm not going to go into regurgitate what I've said in other videos and in other live streams. You go check out those things for yourself. But anyway, Shannon Sharp has landed in the hands of ESPN. ESPN is utilizing Shannon Sharp, and I feel like just those two signings alone, it just shows you that ESPN is embracing social media. Shannon Sharp is very popular on social media. He has a huge fan base. Most of his fans come from social media, and wherever Shannon Sharp goes, they follow Shannon Sharp. And Shannon Sharp is very entertaining. He's very charming. He's very comedic. He's very informational. Uh, and he's a character. The club Shay Shay, the uncle, the unk. I think ESPN is embracing this Shannon Sharp as well as Pat McAfee. And I remember when the rumors were Pat McAfee was coming to ESPN, and I also remember when we talked about when Shannon Sharp was let go of Fox Sports One, we were talking about all these destinations Shannon Sharp, because we all thought that Shannon Sharp was going to be the biggest free agent on demand. Everybody was going to pay top dollar to land Shannon Sharp. And when Shannon Sharp became a free agent, he just went straight to ESPN. And I remember talking about how Shannon Sharp is going to have to change the way he maneuvers on live television. I feel like Fox Sports 1 allows Shannon Sharp to be Shannon Sharp, to be Onk, to be, to have that club Shay Shay swag. Fox Sports 1 embraced that. I felt like ESPN is more a traditional, they're not going to waver back and forth with the FCC rules and things of that nature. And Shannon Sharp is going to, a lot of things Shannon Sharp would say on Fox Sports 1, well, on Undisputed, bull jive, bull hockey, and that, and the third. He was very colorful. His language was very colorful on Undisputed. And I didn't think he couldn't use that colorful language on ESPN. I think ESPN is having some flexibility on allowing Shannon Sharp to be Shannon Sharp. Now Shannon Sharp has tapered some on the selection, on what he's going to say, this, that, and the third. Not a lot of skits going over there at First Take, but I think eventually those skits are going to come down the road, particularly when the NBA season starts. But my thing of it is, this has been a very welcome benefit for ESPN to have Pat McAfee and to have Shannon Sharp. You already got Stephen A. Smith, and there have been segments when all three of them are on First Take. Maybe on simulcast or whatever. But I think this has been a welcome addition for First Take. I think slowly but surely, people who unsubscribe to First Take are now back to subscribing to First Take or watching First Take a little bit more. Now, I don't think all these recent moves mean that people are signing up back again for satellite and cable TV. But I do feel like with this new direction ESPN is going, it's more streamlined to streaming. It's more streamlined and favorable to social media. And I feel like this is a welcome addition to ESPN. Even though ESPN has been losing money here and there, they have had growing spurts when you talk about their ratings, and they haven't looked back on their ratings. So, yeah, I think at the end of the day, this is very beneficial to ESPN. And I'm gonna be 1,000% honest with you guys. I think that sooner rather than later, this is going to pay off real big for First Take, all right? Well, for ESPN, all right? And we're going to transition from that topic, and that's why I had First Take on the brain, because I got some first break topics. Just give me a few seconds. I had all these things written down, and it's kind of hard to... Just give me a second here, guys. I wish I had a commercial break like I do on Too Early for This podcast. Okay. So let's talk. Okay, here we go. Okay, here's the topic I wanted to talk about. Thank you for being very patient. Please hit the like button, rate, comment, subscribe, share this live stream with your friends, family, and followers. Okay. So this is a topic that last week it went down. I was going to do a video on it, but as I started doing the video, I started saying to myself, it's something to talk about, but it's not really that big of news. Okay, so Stephen A. Smith, and Molly had an awkward, vibrating phone conversation on First Take. Okay, and everybody on social media was talking about it at that time, and I just didn't think it was that important. But let's get into it. Okay, Stephen A. Smith enlightened a painful awkwardness moment with Molly when he couldn't stop saying vibrating on air. During Thursday's episode on First Take, Smith was discussing Raiders without Devontae Adams and his frustration with the offense. When he heard his co-host phone nearby. And remember, we had this phone conversation with Shannon Sharp. A lot of people saying, you're making something out of nothing. All right, so, but this is something different. And the conversation went like this. That's Molly's cell phone ringing, by the way. Smith said, it's not ringing, Molly said, interjectedly to Smith, replied, vibrating. I tried to say ring. Do you want me to say vibrating on the air? He asked. You always like mentioning vibrating on the air with your phone. Do you really want to do that? I guess Molly said that. Meanwhile, NFL Dan Ogorlowski, I keep mispronouncing his name. I don't care, whatever. Pulled a Philly fight towel over his face to cover his reaction. Excuse me. Just go with the ring, Smith urged. Just go with the ring, Molly. Stephen A. Smith exposed Molly for using a vibrator on ESPN. This made the rounds on social media, and NBA Central tweeted it, and it shows Stephen A. Smith picture, and it just took off momentarily on social media. Molly looked mortified, with her eyes open wide. I want everyone to know that I was oh my God, what is going on with you today, man? I distanced myself from these comments, she said, appeared holding back laughter. I have nothing to do with anything that just happened. Even though you kind of started it, you was being funny with it, Molly, but hey, whatever. That's when Smith explained that he was trying to avoid the vibrating at this point. Dan was seen with a red Philly towel draped over his head. I'm trying to avoid getting fired, the former NFL player said. That's what I'm saying, Smith added. Didn't I say ring, Dan? I said ring. Okay, that's Stephen A. Smith. Molly then reminds Smith that he was on the set of First Take and not his podcast, during which he usually added a saboteur topic in sports and pop culture. This isn't Stephen A. Smith. This isn't the Stephen A. Smith show on YouTube, she said. And then she tried to get Dan involved in it, and they started moving on, talking about the Dolphins. So elsewhere in this episode, Smith pulled out Molly's personal computer, which showed her looking at a blazer on her internet browser. However, the host wasn't shopping on the job. Molly was trying to show Smith that her outfit wasn't. Oh my God, these two, man. Okay, so let's just get into this. All right, I don't feel like a lot of this is just a bunch of just a bunch of talking points. All right, so a lot of stuff to uncover. I feel like Stephen A. Smith. At first, a it was a harmless joke, and Stephen A. as well as Molly was in the beginning, carrying the joke on, just laughs and giggles and stuff like that. But then reality seeped in, particularly with Stephen A. Smith, and then Stephen A. Smith tried to change the topic and tried to change and then tried to explain what he actually meant. He wasn't saying that Molly had a vibrator. He just said the phone was vibrating, but he wanted to use the word ring. Molly was insisting vibrating, and he just didn't want to look. Reality set in with Stephen A. Smith because Stephen A. Smith has to be very, very careful. And I think Stephen A. Smith, and if I was in that position, I would be thinking this way too. All right. Uh, you got to be careful what you say on live TV because what's funny now may not be funny tomorrow. When you casually talking and you're not, being guarded and you just let loose whatever comes out of your mouth, you have to be careful, particularly on live TV, because what you say now is probably funny now, but later on in the day, social media is going to be at a blaze. You got the Me Too movements, and you got the cancel culture, and I mean, you just got all these different culture. You have all these different communities that's ready to out somebody, in politics as well as entertainment. So you have to be very, very careful. We're living in different times. I think that we live in a time where we're oversensitive. When we're a little too oversensitive, and we just can't have good, clean fun. Can sometimes be described as something harmful or insulting or something like that. Not to say we don't need the Me Too movement. Not to say we don't need Black Lives Matter. Not to say we don't need none of these movements. I think there's a lot of good in these movements, but you know, you got social media. Social media lives 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's no days off on social media. And like I say, something that's innocent now, that's funny, that's humorous, can translate into something differently. And it's not funny no more. And I feel like Stephen A. Smith, reality set in when they was, having their good, clean fun. And then reality set and Stephen said, oh, snap, I better not, I shouldn't have said what I said because people are going to misinterpret it, and they're going to think I was trying to be a sexist on first take. And then I guarantee you, and if I was in that position, I would be this way too. The Ray Rice incident, Stephen A. Smith, and I think Stephen A. Smith was 1,000% wrong on the Ray Rice thing. I think he was very cavalier about what transpired with Ray Rice and his girlfriend, and he made some comments, and they were not politically correct comments, and they were not very positive comments about women, and a lot of people got on Stephen A. Smith. Okay, uh, a lot of people, which a lot of people was demanding ESPN to do something about Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith was suspended, and there was a possibility Stephen A. Smith could have lost his job. All right. And I will say, what the comments Stephen A. Smith said on that Ray Rice subject was insensitive, particularly to women. And, I know, I don't know why Stephen A. Smith said what he said, but no one was co-signing what Stephen A. Smith was saying. And particularly in that moment, he felt like he was right But then after when he rewatched it and gave him some time to think, particularly in his suspension, he was very apologetic. He apologized. He endorsed why ESPN suspended him. He didn't fight ESPN back, and he didn't have any ill will towards ESPN. ESP. He still believed in ESPN. And that time he done signed 2 amazing contracts with ESPN after that incident. So he has a great relationship with ESPN. ESPN has a great relationship with Stephen A. Smith. But the powers that be knew that Stephen A. Smith, he effed up. He effed up real bad, and this could have turned left real fast, real quick. Stephen A. Smith could be out of a job. Okay, sort of the same thing like Rob Parker. And I think that was in the same year, or maybe 2 years after Rob Parker got fired from ESPN for his comments. All right. So, and that was in the early 90s. Okay, there was no movements or cancel culture. Social media was present, but social media wasn't. It didn't blow up like it is now. When you got so many bloggers, you got so many communities, and you got cancel culture. It's at an all-time high with social media now. But I guarantee you, Stephen A. Smith, when he was playing with the joke, and when reality set in, he said, "Oh, wait a minute, I better fall back because this can blow up in my face." And it's funny now, but then the powers that be is going to ask me to come upstairs. They're going to talk about this, and they're going to say it's damaging. It doesn't make you look good. Doesn't make ESPN look good. And I'm already trying to ride this wave with Shannon Sharp. I don't want no detours or this somehow screwing me up trying to get a bag or trying to get a contract renewed by ESPN. But I can understand why Stephen A. Smith cleared it up at that particular time, saying, "Hey, I was talking about the phone ringing. Okay, I don't want anyone thinking in this studio or outside this studio thinking that I was talking about a vibrator." Okay, now Molly, she was being playful and colorful about it, and I feel like people are too critical of Molly, and I don't think people don't appreciate Molly's talent. And I think people get upset when Molly speaks her mind. People rather prefer Molly to just shut up and introduce the topic and let the debaters debate the topics. I don't think a lot of people like Molly, and they don't want Molly to interject. I like it when Molly interjects, and it's a hit or miss thing. Sometimes the stuff Molly says, okay, I can co-sign to that, and other times, I'm not feeling what you're saying, Molly. But hey, you had an opportunity. You had an opportunity to speak. That's what matters. All right. Um, but however, I felt like Molly took that time to throw some jabs, throw some shots at Stephen A. Smith. And maybe a lot of people are going to tell me, Chris, you're thinking too much about this. You're trying to push something in front of us that's really not there. Man, maybe you might be right. But I do feel like she was throwing shots at Stephen A. Smith, talking about, "Oh, Stephen A. Smith, you're not on your YouTube channel, the Stephen A. Smith Show, okay? You're on ESPN First Take, okay?" She didn't say ESPN First Take, but she'll just, I'm just paraphrasing. She's just basically saying that you're not on your own show. You can't, say that. And, anyway, I felt like she was throwing shots at Stephen A. Smith, trying to say that the Stephen A. Smith Show is not on the same level as First Take, which it isn't. I can be fair about it. The Stephen A. Smith Show is not. If you look at the YouTube channel of Stephen A. Smith, it's not on the same stratosphere as ESPN. No one's not saying that. But what I am saying is, I feel like Stephen A. Smith having his own YouTube channel, I think that's a big thing. I think that's an amazing thing, and it shouldn't be treated lightly. And I felt like Molly treated the Stephen A. Smith show on YouTube very lightly. Okay, that's just my opinion about it. All right, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with what I'm going to say, but I felt like she was throwing shots at Stephen A. Smith, and I feel like I understand why Molly was throwing shots, because a week before that, Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp was throwing shots at Molly. Now, maybe their relationship is different. Maybe when they're throwing shots at one another, they feel like it's no disrespect. It's just something that they do. But I do feel like Molly is saying that Stephen A. Smith. I feel like what Molly is. Oh, hold on one second, guys. Okay, so I think that they throw shots at each other, and there's nothing personal about it. I think when they throw shot at each other, it's just their way of, you know, just throwing jabs at each other. And I think this was developed and cultivated when Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless was doing First Take. And Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless, even though they are friends on and off the set, they would throw shots at each other, throw jabs at each other, you know, the steel sharpening steel type of tactic. And Stephen A. Smith didn't take it personal with Skip Bayless, and Skip Bayless didn't take it personal with Stephen A. Smith. And I think when when Skip Bayless left ESPN to go to Fox Sports One, a lot of stuff, a lot of practices that they used when Skip Bayless was there, uh, Stephen A. Smith adopted those practices to First Take, and he tried it with Molly. In the beginning, Molly was very sensitive to. In the beginning, when Molly was introduced with Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless, Molly was very sensitive with the jabs and stuff. And then she would talk about this, uh, you know, on ESPN as well as when she does interviews. And then she basically said in her interview she had to grow thicker skin because this is how these guys uh, communicate and work with one another on set. They feel like it builds character and it builds strength. You know, when Skip Bayless would throw a shot or two at Skip Bayless would throw a shot or two at Stephen A. Smith, and then sometimes they would both throw shots at Molly. And Molly would talk about in the beginning, it it was kind of awkward. She never been in this type of atmosphere, but she adopted and adapted very well, and it added another layer to skin. She said, and she basically said in interviews, that's why when the trolls or the haters come for Molly and say she doesn't belong on the show, she shouldn't be speaking, she should just shut up, look good, and introduce the topics and allow the debaters to debate. It didn't get under her skin. Um, but she had to build that character, and she had to toughen up some. And she said it was hard her first couple of years at ESPN. And when you look at her now, she's with the big boys. She's throwing jabs at Skip Bayless. She's throwing jabs at the people that debate Stephen A. Smith. No, she's throwing jabs at Stephen A. Smith. She's throwing jabs at the people that debate Stephen A. Smith. Um, she even threw a couple of jabs at Shannon Sharp. Okay. And likewise, Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp throw jabs at Molly, and it doesn't affect Molly. All right. Now, I do feel like Molly, when it comes to having other women on the panel, she don't be throwing a lot of jabs at the other women. I think it's like a sisterhood at ESPN, and this is gonna sound very sexist. So if you are affected or if you're hurt by what I'm about to say, I'm gonna go ahead and apologize in advance. But I feel like the women at ESPN take up for each other at that network. They don't belittle either one. They are very supportive in uh, their female colleagues. If they even if someone says something negative, they don't go to social media and say, "Oh, so and so was wrong yesterday." They don't really go ham on each other, and they really protective. That it's like a sisterhood over there, and I think that was developed, by the early pioneers of female reporters at ESPN, and it's been applied to every woman that works there. And Molly, she doesn't do that to the female co-workers, but she will. It's almost like she understands that this is how the guys communicate with one another by throwing jabs at one another, and it's like a term of respect with the guys over there. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. And I thought personally, it could be. I thought personally it was a little insulting. When you're trying to say, oh, when you're on Stephen A, she was almost saying this to the effect. When you're on ESPN, the ESPN Stephen A. Smith is different from the Stephen A. Smith on YouTube. Basically, trying to say that, you're just faking it, okay? And she wasn't, and and I may be paraphrasing wrong, but that's that's what I gathered from that conversation. But yeah, but nevertheless, Molly, I like Molly. I don't think a lot of other people like Molly. I respect Molly, and I just don't think the fans of ESPN really respect Molly. And I feel like with this new edition of Shannon Sharp, I just before Shannon Sharp, I thought Molly was, starting to be the second most popular person on ESPN. Because Molly endured a lot of different personalities and a lot of different egos. She had to endure Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith. Then she had to endure Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman. And then she had to endure Stephen A. Smith versus whoever she had on the platform. And she just, endured a lot of that stuff. And I just thought before they even made the announcement of Shannon Sharp, she was going to really showcase that, hey, you know what? I'm more than just a moderator. I can also debate Stephen A. Smith, maybe a segment or two I can show you guys. But then then ESPN and Stephen A. Smith, they brought Mad Dog Christopher Russo. Of course, they got Shannon Sharp, and they got their other personalities on ESPN. So, yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't give Molly her props. Uh, you know, I feel like this Shannon Sharp thing is very beneficial for ESPN, very beneficial for Stephen A. Smith. Not too sure if it's very beneficial for Molly. And I think it'd be very beneficial for Molly if Stephen A. Smith gets renewed for another contract. Because I feel like the biggest supporter of Molly is Stephen A. Smith. I do feel like they have a relationship on and off the set. And I'm not gonna go as far as Stephen A. Smith is romantically with Molly or have a sexual relationship with Molly. I do feel like um, Molly respects her relationship with Stephen A. Smith a little more than her marriage with Jalen Rose. And, because they have developed a very kinship and they developed like, support, being very supportive to one another. Because Molly could have easily, when they removed Max from the show, Molly could have been very vocal and supported Max, keeping Max on that show. But Molly was very silent when that process happened, even though she didn't choose a side. But with her silence, she pretty much made a decision that she's all team Stephen A. Smith, and she could have said something if she thought that Max, um, if she believed that Max should belonged on that show. Molly could have said something, but she knew that this was a Stephen A. decision. Stephen A. went to upper management, and Stephen A. Told management it's either me or Max. And when the star of the show give you an ultimatum like that, you're gonna have to choose. Because I think if they would have just said, you know what, we'll just choose Max. I think first days, best days are behind them. If Stephen A. Smith left ESPN, because you knew where he was going. He was going to partner up with Skip Bayless, and if Stephen A. Smith would have went to Fox Sports One, and and the same situation, you still got Shannon Sharp at Fox Sports One, and but you're gonna have Stephen A. Smith with Skip Bayless, and they would have done that show 5 days a week. And with that tandem, I think that would have been enough for it to really be the first take killer. Uh, Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp, and Stephen A. Smith, I think they would have dethroned the first take. First take would end it right then and there. Okay. So ESPN was smart. They know where their butter was breaded, and it was with Stephen A. Smith, not Max Kellerman. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much it on that topic. But we're gonna move on. Ain't no shame in my game. We're gonna definitely move on to the next topic. Who is this? Oh, God. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next topic. Okay, give me a second here, folks. Give me a second here. Give me a second. Nope, can't go there. I had something that Oh, shoot, snap. I had something to talk about. Give me a second. Okay, give me a second, y'all. Let me put this on mute so I can find this topic, okay? Okay, I'm back. I wanted to and this topic came a couple of weeks ago. I didn't really talk too much about it, and ESPN rated uh, the best NBA players. They had their best NBA players list. And let me hold up 1 second. I just want to make sure I'm saying this right. All right, hold on 1 second. Give me one more second. All right, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I just want to make sure because I had to go to the article because I want to make sure what I'm saying is right. Okay, but this is coming from the New York Post, and this was October the 11th. So I know this topic is very very old, but we're going to talk about it. Okay, so Kyrie Irving rips ESPN for his number 34 player ranking doesn't mean a damn thing. This is what Kyrie Irving is saying. So Kyrie Irving doesn't care about the ESPN, what ESPN thinks of him, and he made sure to let the rest of the world know it. The worldwide leader of sports geared up for its up and coming NBA season by ranking the best players in the league. And in outlets, and the outlet ranked Kyrie Irving 34th, which did not sit well with his fans. Okay. Um, the fan account, Kyrie Irving on Instagram posted about the ESPN only ranking him 34th on their top 100 list, and he responded, "Who the fuck cares? I never will." Irvin wrote in a reply that his uh he gained more like okay, no, whoa. Irvin replied this and it had like let's say 3,000 likes on his social media platform. Ranking don't mean a damn thing in the league, especially not from ESPN or any other media platform. Majority of these analysts are not credible sources in my eyes. I don't respect them or their opinions. In this reasonable for placing Irvin where they did, ESPN wrote ESPN wrote a team issued suspension and Brooklyn eventually granting Kyrie Irving his trade request added to his 8-time All-Star record debunked. Here's some comments on social media. Kyrie Irving on Twitter. Well, it used to be Twitter, now it's X. ESPN ranked Kyrie Irving 34th best player in their top 100 list. And Kyrie Irving responded, "Who the fuck cares? I will never. Rankings don't mean a damn thing in the league, especially not from ESPN or any other media platform. The majority of these analysts are not credible sources in my eyes, and I don't respect their opinions." The outlet did praise Irving by discussing his unquestionably skill and placed him as one of the NBA most productive guards. Irvin has never been afraid to voice his opinion or call people out. Over the summer, he got into several social media battles with social media personalities such as Barstool Sports, um, whom Kyrie Irving has challenged him to a one-on-one. Oh, come on, Kyrie Irving. You're challenging. Okay. There is no question of his talent that Irving possesses on the court, which lead to his high hoops when he's teamed up with Kevin Durant in Brooklyn. But off the court, things have been a little chippy. Irving time with the Nets ended when he was traded in February to the Mavericks. Okay. We're not okay. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump into this because I just feel like the rest of the article is just basically just regurgitating the same old stuff, but have a lot of stuff to talk about. First and foremost, and this is to Kyrie Irving. If ESPN ranked you in the top 5, will you have that same energy? If he was ranked in the top 5, do you think Kyrie Irving would go to social media and say ESPN don't know a damn thing? Their personalities, I don't have no respect for their analysts. They don't know what they're talking about. If Kyrie Irving was ranked in the top 5, in the top 5, would Kyrie Irving challenge a media personality from Barstool Sports to a one-on-one? Would Kyrie Irving battle social media will battle sports media personalities on social media if he was ranked top 5? If he was ranked top 5. First and foremost, 34th is a damn pretty good player. Okay, there's a such thing as the top 50 all-time NBA players. Everybody's not going to be number 1. Okay? And I felt like when they did the top 50, it was very respected and no one had a problem with their position, nor the fact that Michael Jordan was number 1. I mean, no one had an issue with it. Everyone considered the top 50 all-time NBA players. Everyone was saying it's an honor to just be in the top 50 because there's so many players, past, present, as well as the future, that got an opportunity to be in the top 50, but they chose you. When they went to the top 75 players, all-time players in NBA history, no one had a problem with it. LeBron James didn't have a problem with it. Dwayne Wade didn't have a problem with it. No one had a problem with it. Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant. No one had a problem with the top. God rest his soul, Kobe Bryant. Michael Jordan. There was an incident with Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas, but didn't overshadow the top 75 players of all time. Let me ask y'all something. Was Kyrie Irving in the top 50 all-time NBA players? Nope. Kyrie Irving was Kyrie Irving's, and I don't think Kyrie Irving was selected as the top 75 players of NBA history. And even if he was, did he, gripe about him? Because I'm pretty sure he's not going to leapfrog anybody to even get into the top 20. Did he, was he very critical of the top 75 players of all time? No. And guess what? Those two, the top 50 and the top 75, you know where they got their data from? Former players, coaches, GMs, and media personalities. Because at the end of the day, these people see these players every single day when they were in their prime. But Kyrie Irving didn't have an issue of all time. And if Kyrie Irving was ranked top 5 of the top 100 players, if he was in the top 5 of the top 100 players, Kyrie Irving wasn't going to make any stones about that. But Kyrie Irving want to make stones about him being 34th out of 100 players. Kyrie, I know he don't listen to my live stream. I'm not that big enough, not yet anyway. But Kyrie, it's an honor to be ranked 34th in the top 100 of current players right now. Particularly if you look at Kyrie Irving's track record. Before he got traded to the Dallas Mavericks, Kyrie Irving played almost every entire game. The year before that, it was injuries. The year before that, it was COVID. When Kyrie Irving went to the Boston Celtics from the Cleveland Cavaliers, he was in and out of games because of injuries, or he just wanted to sit out. Kyrie Irving literally sat out because he just wasn't feeling it. And Kyrie Irving's biggest success is when he won the title with LeBron James. What has Kyrie Irving done to eclipse that? Nothing. Yeah, he's been on the Brooklyn Nets with KD, Kevin Durant, the Tarantula. Yeah, he was the captain of those young Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. He was a part of that momentarily. Yes, he won a title with LeBron James in Cleveland, but after that title with LeBron James, what have Kyrie Irving done to eclipse that? To say, okay, did Kyrie Irving win a ring after that? No. Did he even get close to winning a ring? No. And all I'm saying is, Kyrie Irving, dog, from Cleveland, when you got traded from Cleveland, from when you got traded to Boston, it didn't work well in Boston, didn't work well in Brooklyn. You're now playing with the Dallas Mavericks. That's your fourth team. But ever since you won that chip in Cleveland, you haven't done diddly squat. Now, he added more accolades to his individual success. But as extraordinary talented as Kyrie Irving is, I think he's the best dribbler in the game. His handles are on point. And I think a lot of people undersell his mid-range game. And when he's hot, he can cook them threes. He's still athletic. He can still get to the paint. And that's Kyrie Irving at 75%. When there's not a lot of distractions, and he's not saying I'm more of an artist than a basketball player. If Kyrie Irving can just be the best basketball player he could possibly be, Kyrie Irving would have at least another ring. At least one more ring. But let's just face facts and face reality. Kyrie Irving wants a lot of things, but I don't think Kyrie Irving wants a ring. Kyrie Irving wants acceptance. Kyrie Irving wants importance. Kyrie Irving wants to have his own team. Kyrie Irving wants to play basketball with his friends. Kyrie Irving wants to play when he wants to play. But Kyrie Irving winning titles, Kyrie Irving don't care about that. And it shows. And I know a lot of people are going to say, you don't know what you're talking about. Kyrie Irving, give Kyrie Irving a chance, give Kyrie Irving a shot, yada, 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 all this zippity-doo-dah, zippity-day type stuff. But let's just be realistic. Kyrie Irving got drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers, played with one of the best players that he can ever play with, is LeBron James. He got drafted to Cleveland, had a couple of years by himself. LeBron came back to Cleveland. They did some wholesale changes. They won a title, him and LeBron. And people were talking about, man, the future is bright for LeBron and Kyrie. When they defended their title, Kyrie was, acting a little weird. And LeBron was looking at this like, hey, am I going to hang my hat with this guy and he started to develop these traits like, and I'm not talking about the world is flat and all that BS LeBron, and all that stuff Kyrie Irving was saying when LeBron was there. But I think LeBron started noticing that Kyrie don't have the same desires as LeBron. Like, he started noticing Kyrie don't have the same interests as LeBron. LeBron wanted to win titles. Kyrie, winning titles, it was good, but it wasn't on his priority list. And you started seeing him being more socially active, particularly on social media. He talked more about politics, even though LeBron talks about politics. He was just talking about other things and other things that was important to Kyrie, but basketball wasn't. And that's why you kept hearing rumors that, LeBron was, and maybe LeBron was pushing this, or maybe the front office was pushing it. It doesn't even matter. That's when Kyrie Irving got a little thin skin when he found out that the Cleveland Cavaliers were shopping him around. So Kyrie was saying to himself, okay, I'd rather hurry up and get out of Cleveland before Cleveland trades me. And he made a big stink about it, and then they traded him to the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics, Cleveland got Isaiah Thomas and plus some other some players that really didn't help them win another title. And it sort of derailed LeBron James. LeBron James said, okay, this team is getting older. We don't have enough draft picks. The future does not look good for Cleveland. Let me get up out of it. Let me bounce out of Cleveland and go to LA. But you have to give Kyrie Irving at least some respect on this. Kyrie Irving was saying, hey, look, you're not going to leave me holding the bag in Cleveland. I signed a max contract with Cleveland. And then when your contract's up, you're going to bounce on me and go to LA. And I'm stuck like Chuck in Cleveland. And we go back into losing. Now, I give Kyrie I give him some props on that, wanting to be traded to Boston. And one of the things he said when he got to Boston was he wanted his own team. He had a young team in Boston. He had Jason Tatum. He had Jaylen Brown. He had all of these young, talented players just trying to figure it out. All they needed was a veteran type of player who had experience in the playoffs, who won a title. Kyrie Irving was that missing piece for the Boston Celtics. And then what happened? He turned on the Boston Celtics media. He turned on the Boston Celtics fans. He turned on Danny Ainge. He really wasn't that. He really wasn't beneficial to that young Cleveland team. He didn't help them with their growth and the development. He kind of let them figure what they need to figure out. He wasn't there for guidance. Kyrie Irving was about Kyrie Irving. And then Danny Ainge said, you know what? Let's get rid of Kyrie Irving. Particularly when Kyrie Irving wasn't giving them, was he going to re-sign with Boston? And Kyrie Irving went to Brooklyn because he said, quote unquote, he wanted to play alongside his friend, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant left the Golden State Warriors to go to Brooklyn. I think this was more of a Kyrie Irving decision. Kyrie Irving had the ear of Kevin Durant saying, you know what? Instead of going to the New York Knicks or you going back to the Golden State Warriors and I'm going back to the Boston Celtics, why don't we just take our talents to Brooklyn? Brooklyn, that'll be our team, and we can do whatever we want to do in Brooklyn. So they got Kyrie Irving. They got Kevin Durant, signed, sealed, delivered. But one of the requests Kevin Durant said was, you also have to sign Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving wasn't high on the Brooklyn's list as far as signing free agency, but they had to sign Kyrie Irving in order to land Kevin Durant. And you saw some promise there in the early going with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Even though Kevin Durant missed the whole entire season, you started seeing Kyrie Irving take off with that team. You start seeing some glimpses, but guess what? Kyrie Irving, said that the players that they had wasn't good enough. They traded most of those players away. Kyrie Irving also said he wasn't that impressed with the coach. So they got rid of the coach. They got rid of those players because of what Kevin Durant. They wanted to make Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving happy, or whatever makes Kevin Durant happy is to listen to Kyrie Irving. And if that's the only way to make Kevin Durant happy, we're going to do it. They traded those players, which I thought that coach and those players, at least they went to the playoffs without Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. But that's neither here nor there. Nobody don't talk about that. They got rid of those players. They got rid of that coach. They got rid of that coach, and they replaced him with Steve Nash. And he was training on the job. But guess what? Kevin Durant liked Steve Nash. Kevin Durant liked Steve Nash, but Kyrie Irving didn't have no experience with Steve Nash. Kevin Durant had to sell Steve Nash to Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie Irving said, okay, in the beginning. And we all know what happened after that. They got rid of the rest of those players for James Harden. James Harden was a rental. And James Harden got up out of there after playing alongside Kyrie Irving. And he's going like, yo, bro, Kyrie Irving, he's not that serious in winning a title. Kyrie Irving wants to do everything else except win a title. So James Harden got up out of there, and they did the trade to get oh my God, I forgot that man's name already. Ben Simmons. They traded for Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons went to Brooklyn. First year, he was injured. He also was going through some mental situation. They pretty much got Ben Simmons on damaged goods. And they've been falling backwards. But this is what this is the best deal that they could have gotten, because James Harden was going to leave regardless. They got Ben Simmons. They thought it would work with Ben Simmons. I thought it was going to work with Ben Simmons, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving. They could never play. All three of them could never play enough on the court to see what they ultimately had. And, after that, Kevin Durant wanted a trade. He wanted to either be traded to the Suns or to the Heat. And then they traded him to the Suns. Kyrie Irving wanted to get up out of Brooklyn, but I think Brooklyn wanted Kyrie Irving out of there. They traded him to the Dallas Mavericks. Now, Kyrie Irving had his preference. He wanted to go to the Los Angeles Lakers. And the Brooklyn Nets said, nah, we don't want anything what the Lakers were giving them. But guess what? The Dallas Mavericks they're giving away draft picks plus some decent players. Now, last year, without Kevin Durant and without Kyrie Irving, they made it to the playoffs. Now, they didn't survive long in the playoffs, but guess what? They didn't survive long with Kyrie Irving or Kevin Durant in the playoffs. And you're starting to see that these draft picks are going to be very beneficial to the Brooklyn Nets. They traded him to the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks had to give up all their defensive players for the services of Kyrie Irving. Yeah, I mean on the stat sheet, Kyrie Irving is knocking down threes, knocking down jumpers, assists and things of that nature. You got Luka, and he it looks great on the stat board. But what does it mean to the win and loss record? Because before they got Kyrie Irving, they was penciled in to make it to the playoffs. They get Kyrie Irving. Now, this has nothing to do with Kyrie Irving, but it has more to do with they had to give up so much to get Kyrie Irving. They fell right out of the playoffs. And there may be trouble brewing with the Dallas Mavericks because Luka's looking at this like, man, yeah, it's me and Kyrie Irving, but if they don't upgrade this roster, I'm about to bounce. So this season is going to be very beneficial. I mean, it's going to be a very this season is going to prove whether or not Luka is going to stay with the Dallas Mavericks. He don't mind losing, but he would like to see this team go north instead of south. He'd rather see something special about this team. Like they're like one piece away from being very competitive. So we're going to have to wait and see. Now, Jason Kidd is the coach over there. He's a player-friendly type of guy. I think he's going to get the best out of Kyrie Irving, but a lot of it is on Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving mindset is going to have to be different. He can't say, I want to be an artist and I want to be known for this and I want to dabble into that. He needs to be thinking about basketball every day, all day. He needs to lock himself in the gym because they're going to need him and Luka. Not only for offense, but they're going to have to contribute on the defensive end. Luka's going to have to spend a little bit more time on the defensive end. Kyrie needs to spend a little bit more time on the defensive end because you got two players on the Dallas Mavericks who is extraordinarily talented on the offensive side of things, but is terrible on the defensive side of things. So we're going to have to wait and see. Okay. So can't wait for this up and coming NBA season. All right. And that's all the topics I got for today. I really do appreciate everyone coming in and coming out. I first like to thank my graveyard crew. Y'all got one more hour and you up out of there. Also like to thank my early morning squad, people that wakes up, that woke up at 4, 5, 6 in the morning. You're starting your day a little bit early. I hope you have a lovely, productive day today. I'd like to thank everyone that's been watching my videos and live streams. Y'all, the numbers have been cranking up. I like to appreciate everyone that's doing that for your boy. And that's pretty much it. So that's a wrap for Just My Opinion podcast. I forgot what episode I'm on. I think I'm on episode 8 or episode 9. Season 3. I'd like to thank everyone that came by. Hit the like button on your way out. I was hoping for some people to comment in the comment section, but hey, it is what it is. It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast, and I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. I will see you guys next Monday, same bad time, same bad channel. Be on the lookout for videos. If anything breaks or anything drops this week, I will make a video about it. So be on the lookout for that. I'm up out of here. I will see you guys next week at this time. If you are subscribed to I'm Chris the Don One, too early for this podcast will be on tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. If you also subscribe to I'm Chris the Don One TV, I'm gonna have some. I'm gonna have a video drop sometime this week. I'm gonna try to stay consistent on I'm Chris the Don One TV. At least do one video a month. Oh, well, one video a week. Excuse me. And y'all check that out. Subscribe and enjoy. You will not be disappointed. If we may have some development with the Breakfast Club and DJ Envy, the DJ Envy and the Pina, the real estate the real estate guy that be flipping homes. We may have some breaking news sometime today or sometime this week. So be on the lookout for that. I may talk about that on I'm Chris Don One TV. It's your boy. I'm up out of here. I will see you guys when I see you. Deuces.